What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Flame Entertainment and Sports. It's your boy Rob here. Hope everyone's doing good out there. Thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be a shorter episode than usual, as we did drop a bonus episode yesterday. For those of you who have listened, hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a big college football episode. As you know, the college football playoffs officially begin on Friday with Indiana against Notre Dame. So we brought on our, college football analyst that we love, and Paul. He did an incredible job giving his thoughts on all the upcoming college football playoff games. We talked some Bill Belichick to North Carolina, and we talked a little bit about Travis Hunter winning the Heisman Trophy last weekend. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode, and for those of you who haven't, make sure to go check it out ahead of Friday night's first matchup of the college football playoff. And once again, thank you to Paul for taking the time to join us and give his expertise on all things college football. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, on this episode, I'm going to be, starting off as always in the entertainment world. We have a couple of engagements that have gone on within the last couple of weeks. We have Hailee, Steinfeld, and Josh Allen. They got engaged. Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez, they got engaged. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Olivia Rodrigo, as she is the new face of Lancôme, which of course is one of the biggest, makeup or beauty and makeup brands. I think that's how you say it out there. So yeah, congrats to Olivia on that. And then in the sports world, I'm just really gonna talk about the Dolphins and their disappointing loss last Sunday to the Houston Texans. And yeah, that's gonna be what we cover on this edition of the Flame Entertainment and Sports. Before we get into all that, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Flame_ES. And now, I hope you guys enjoy this episode as we start off in the entertainment world. Alright guys, so as I mentioned in the intro, it's going to be a shorter episode of the podcast, but we're going to start off in the entertainment world. We do have a couple engagements that have gone on in pop culture within the last few weeks. A couple weeks back, Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen, he proposed to Hailee Steinfeld, who of course is a amazing singer, amazing actress. She rose to fame in a Pitch Perfect franchise. She's gone on to come out with some great music over her career. She also started in the Transformers franchise as well. And then, Josh Allen, he's arguably the best player in the NFL right now. In my opinion, I think he's going to be the MVP this year. Though just so far how the season has gone, right, with 3 games left, I believe Josh Allen should be the favorite right now for, the most valuable player in the NFL. And yeah, I just wanted to say congratulations, right, to Josh and Hailee. They've been together now for at least over a year, I would say. They've been very private in their relationship, I would say. In terms of, from when they started dating, we never really saw Hailee really spotted last season that much in Buffalo. I think she was maybe spotted at a couple of games, but her and Josh wouldn't really post. And then ultimately, I think it was in the summer, they took a trip to Paris, I believe. I don't know if it was during the Olympics, but I know they did go to Paris and they did post some pictures from the Eiffel Tower. So yeah, they've been posting now within the last couple of months, within the last 6 months, I would say. They've been posting more than they first did in the beginning of their relationship. But it seems as things are going well, as they're gonna get married. And speaking of getting married, another couple who just got engaged. Actually, they got engaged last Wednesday. Just I would say within an hour after I finished recording last week's episode. That is Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco. Of course, Benny Blanco, he's been a big-time music producer for a long time. He also does a lot of food content on Instagram. And then, of course, Selena Gomez, one of the most beloved figures in all of pop culture. We all grew up watching her, of course, on Wizards of Waverly Place on Disney Channel. But she also, was a child actress on the hit, kids show Barney. And then, she's had some great music in her career as well. And now, most recently, she's been starring in the Hulu, hit Only Murders in the Building alongside Martin Short and Steve Martin, and then she was also in the film most recently that's on Netflix called Emilia Perez, alongside a couple different actresses and actors there like Edgar Ramirez, Zoe Saldana, and Carla Sofia Gascon, just to name a few. And Selena and Benny, they've been together, I want to say maybe for a year, something like that. It hasn't been a long time. But, it seems as if things are going great. And as soon as I saw Selena posted the news, I was just like, I was so happy. I couldn't be more happy. Obviously, we all know the struggle she's had, right, personally, whether it be with mental health, or some substance abuse issues over the years, and stuff like that. But we also seen the turmoil, the bad relationship she's been in, whether it was with Justin Bieber all those years, and all the drugs they allegedly did together. And I just feel like them together, they're just bringing each other down. And then she moved on. She has some other shaky relationships, including with The Weeknd, who is allegedly a big, allegedly, like I said, a big drug guy. And so it's just great to see Selena happy. And I really hope this is her, happily ever after, because she very much deserves it. I think she's one of the most humble celebrities out there. You always see her, interacting with fans wherever she goes. She'll take hundreds and hundreds of pictures. She'll, say hi to people, give hugs, and she just seems like a great person with a great heart overall. So I couldn't be more happy for Selena Gomez. And yeah, as a lifelong fan, I just want her to be happy. At the end of the day, that's the main thing. I want everyone to be happy. But yeah, I've been a fan of Selena now for a very long time. She's one of my favorites, and I'm just super happy to see her engaged. And hopefully, her and Benny will be getting married sometime soon. We're just gonna have to wait and see on that. The final thing we're gonna cover in the entertainment world. I know it's a short section, as I've mentioned, but we did release a bonus episode yesterday with Paul, a college football episode. So I didn't want to make this too long, but yeah, the final thing we'll be covering in the entertainment world for this week's episode is Olivia Rodrigo. I wanted to say congratulations to her. You see her picture right here behind me on the wall here, under the flame logo right there. But congratulations to Olivia. She's officially been named the new face of Lancôme, which is one of the biggest beauty and makeup brands out there. And they've had countless amount of stars over the years represent them. But I would say, in my opinion, Olivia is the best to ever represent Lancôme. And as soon as I saw the announcement, all the pictures, they posted like a reel on Instagram of Olivia with different shades of lipstick and stuff like that. And I just thought it was amazing to see. I'm a huge Olivia Rodrigo fan. I'm a certified Livy, I guess you could say. And yeah, I'm just a big fan of hers. I've followed their career over the years. I know she was on Bizarre Vark. I wasn't really watching Disney Channel at the time anymore, so I didn't really watch. I watched like maybe 3 episodes here and there. Then of course she went on to High School Musical, the series. I was late to that show, but as soon as I started watching, I became a huge Olivia fan. And then back in March, she had her Guts World Tour show here in Miami at the Kaseya Center, home of the Miami Heat, and I went to that. I think I talked about it on here. I'm not 100% sure. I've probably mentioned it. But yeah, back in March, I went to that concert here. This was the first concert I've ever been to by myself, actually. And honestly, it was just an amazing time. Olivia's a great performer, such a talent. Obviously, one of the most beautiful women to ever walk on earth, I would say. And yeah, one of the most talented singers of all time. And she's also an amazing actress. Obviously, nowadays, she's been on tour this whole year for the Guts World Tour. So I think people kind of forget her acting side. And also, she hasn't really acted since High School Musical, the series. So, Olivia, she's a hell of a talent. And I'm just super happy to see her get this opportunity with Lancôme. And I know it's going to be a huge success for her and for Lancôme as well. So, yeah, guys, it's going to wrap up our talk in the entertainment world for today's, short episode of the Flame Entertainment and Sports. Now we'll get into my thoughts on the Dolphins' disappointing 20-12 loss to the Houston Texans this past Sunday. All right, guys. So for the sports section on today's episode of the Flame Entertainment and Sports, I'm just gonna be giving my thoughts on the Dolphins' 20-12 loss to the Houston Texans. We fought a 6-8. It was a must-win game in order to stay alive for the playoff race. Luckily, we still have some sort of chance, I guess, maybe like 1 or 2% chance of making the playoffs. But basically, we need to win these last 3 games. We need the Chargers to lose at least 2 of their last 3 games. It's a whole mess, and at the end of the day, the way we're playing right now, we don't deserve to make the playoffs. So yeah, to give my thoughts on this game with Houston, so we lose 20-12. And, it was just extra frustrating because I would say the majority of our losses this year, I feel like we've beaten ourselves. And that, I always say, like, I'm not trying to take away any credit from the opposing teams. But in my opinion, what's really happened this year with literally the 8 Dolphin losses, I would say, is that we've beaten ourselves. And the main reason is because we're usually the team that's unprepared We have low IQ individuals on the staff and on the field as well. And yeah, we're just one of the most undisciplined teams I've ever seen in my life. And unfortunately for us, we met our opposites this past Sunday as Houston. I mentioned it last week as I gave a little preview to this game. And my predictions to the keys to victory for Miami is exactly why they lost. And that is because I said last week, like, my key was for them to be the more disciplined team, because I mentioned last week on here about Houston that most of Houston's wins this year, like, don't get me wrong, look, now they're 9-5. They have an amazing record, top of the AFC South division. And, I'm not taking away anything from them. But ultimately, the Houston Texans are not a team that, like, is going to outpower you or really outplay you or wow you. But at the end of the day, they're one of the most disciplined and smart teams in all of football this specific season. And unfortunately, we're the complete opposite. And that's ultimately why we lost this game. Honestly, the story of this game was the turnovers, was all the holding calls, the horrible offensive line play, the horrible play calling of Mike McDaniel, and ultimately Tua's worst game of the season. He threw 3 interceptions in this one. The first 2 were just flat out bad passes. He threw them directly at specific defensive backs for Houston. I wasn't sure what happened to him on those 2. And then the final one was on our final drive of the game. He threw a jump ball to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek had the ball in his hands. It was a little underthrown, but ultimately Tyreek did have the ball in his hands, and he just lost possession of the ball. And the cornerback, Derek Stingley Jr., came up with a second interception of the game. Ultimately, on that specific last interception, I know everyone's going to blame Tua, because that's what everyone does. It's always his fault. Tyreek Hill's amazing, and Jalen Waddle's incredible. Tua's not. I know how everyone works out there, but on that last interception specifically, I understand it was underthrown. I understand Tyreek Hill, he did have the ball at first, but ultimately that last interception to me falls on Mike McDaniel due to this reason. Why in the world would you have a wide receiver who's under 6 feet tall do a jump ball type of play? That makes absolutely no sense. To me, for a jump ball type of play, the receiver minimum has to be at least 6'2" or 6'3". He can't be, what's Tyreek really, like 5'8", 5'9", something like that, maybe 5'10". So yeah, to me, that last one, I'll blame really on Mike McDaniel, because I don't understand, like, putting your quarterback in that situation is terrible, and then putting your receiver in that situation is terrible as well. It makes absolutely zero sense. But yeah, ultimately, three turnovers. Houston was able to capitalize on these turnovers, and ultimately they're just a smarter team. I mean, there's not much more for me to say. We lose 20-12. I can kind of give you the scoring breakdown. So at the end of the first quarter, Houston was up 3-0. Then we tied the game 3-3. Then Houston takes a 10-3 lead. Then we get another field goal in. Ultimately, at halftime, we're trailing by a touchdown. We're down 13-6. Then in the third quarter, Houston scores a touchdown early on to take a 20-6 lead. Then finally, we answered back with our first touchdown of the game on a 7-yard pass from Tua to Jonnu Smith. And it makes it a 20-12 game because Jason Sanders misses the extra point. So it could have been, 20-13. And, in the fourth quarter, there was no scoring. And yeah, ultimately, like I said, there's not much for me to say about this game, because ultimately it came down to the turnover battle. And the team that was more disciplined ultimately came out on top. And that's really what Houston's done for the majority, if not every single one of their games this season, that's led them to that 9-5 record. So, I want to give a lot of credit and respect to D'Amico Ryans and his staff, because they obviously run a tight ship, and they have their, their guys disciplined and ready to play. And it's not about the talent over there. They're, high IQ guys with a high IQ coaching staff that puts their players in the best possible position to succeed. And ultimately, the Dolphins are a mess, and they continue to be a mess and undisciplined as they've been for the last 3 years. And yeah, it was just another disappointing game in a very disappointing and ugly season for the Miami Dolphins so far. Next up, we have our last home game of the regular season at Hard Rock Stadium this Sunday. It's at 4:25 against another 6-8 team, the San Francisco 49ers. They come to town. And then we move on to Cleveland next week. It was supposed to be a Sunday night game over there, but it got flexed now to a 4:05 game. and then we finished the season on the road in Meadowlands against the New York Jets. So yeah, we have the Niners, the Browns, and the Jets. To give some thoughts on this upcoming matchup with the Niners, the Niners, regardless of their record at 6-8, they're way better than their record. And the main reason, in my opinion, for that being the case is because they have one of the rare elite head coaches in all of football, and Kyle Shanahan. Ultimately, for San Francisco this year, there's been a lot of injuries, as they always have. They always have a lot of injuries, and there's been lately Deebo Samuel's been acting like a diva. He's been doing a horrible job as a wide receiver on the field. Of course, it's just been a lot of drama, a lot of turmoil for the Niners, but I never count them out specifically because of Kyle Shanahan. Like I said, he's one of the few elite coaches, right, in the NFL. I would put him as a top 4, top 5 coach in this league without a doubt. The guys that come to mind are Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Mike Tomlin. Those are really the 4 guys for me that stand out amongst the rest of the head coaches in the NFL. But yeah, guys, like I said, another disappointing game for the Finns. Now we just move on, and I just want to enjoy this final game because it's probably going to be our final home game. Because even if we do somehow sneak into the playoffs, we're more than likely not going to be hosting a playoff game because we'll probably be coming in as a final wild card, spot in the AFC playoff picture. So yeah, guys, ultimately, I just want to enjoy this game on Sunday. Final game of the season here at Hard Rock Stadium. Final game of 2024 here at Hard Rock Stadium. And yeah, I just want to enjoy it because we're not going to get another one of these most likely till August in the preseason. So yeah, guys, I just want to enjoy it. Ultimately, of course, I want to see the team win and improve. But with 3 games left, I don't want to stress myself out. I don't want to let the Dolphins ruin my Sundays anymore. And, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be that passionate and emotional, diehard Dolphin fan that I am. But ultimately, I just want to try to have a good time. Whatever happens, happens. Like I said, obviously, I want them to win and to improve and to look good. But, yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Once again, kickoff will be at 4:25 live from Hard Rock Stadium as the Dolphins take on the 49ers. But, yeah, guys, it's going to wrap up our sports section for today's show. I know it was short, but as I've said multiple times on this episode, I did release a bonus surprise episode last night. College football playoff preview with Paul. So I didn't want to make this too long and have it be like 2 long episodes for everyone to try to keep up with and retain all the information So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on the Dolphins 20-12 loss to the Houston Texans, and they now fall to 6-8 on the year, and they play host to the 49ers on Sunday. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Flame Entertainment and Sports. Hope you guys enjoyed this shorter edition of the podcast as we, covered some engaged couples in the pop culture world. Once again, congrats to Josh Allen and Hailee Steinfeld. Congrats to Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco. And congratulations to Olivia Rodrigo. You see her right here. I'm being the new face of Lancôme. And then, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts on the Dolphins' loss to the Texans. And yeah, guys, I just hope you enjoyed this episode overall. I'd appreciate if you guys could share it with anyone you know who you think would enjoy hearing any of these topics. I'd appreciate if you could subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Leave us a rating, leave us a review, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. It helps a lot in all these algorithms on all these different platforms. So I just really appreciate it. And in general, I just appreciate you all for either watching here on YouTube or listening on the podcast platform. It means a lot. So I just wanted to say thank you. This is what I love to do, and it's just a joy to be able to do this every single week and put this out into the world, and I hope you all are enjoying it. With all that said, make sure to keep up with us on social media, on Instagram and TikTok at the @flame_ES. Until next time, everyone, Merry Christmas and take care.